Houston, Texas. We're back. Before we get started with the episode, Kay, you got anything you want to say?
What's poppin', Houston? I'm the young visionary, aka Sir Ja Monet, and we about to take over the city. Y'all ready?
No doubt.
On the hottest podcast.
No doubt.
Let's go.
I wanna say before we get the episode started, a couple of shout outs, Kay. I want to say to a couple of my large brothers, Davion, Brother Ed, Past Master Ed, Edric Neal, happy birthday to y'all. Biggie Smalls' birthday is on Tuesday.
Hey now, happy birthday.
And Kay, my firstborn kid will be born. My first child will be born next week.
Oh, hello. We got another young visionary on the way.
You
Let's
already
get
know.
it.
Houston, Texas. Let's get into the show, man.
Yes.
Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." Dear John, the iconic legend Quincy Jones said, "To know where you came from makes it easier for you to get where you're going." Sean Diddy Combs said, "Everyone has challenges and lessons to learn. We wouldn't be who we are without them." If 2018 and the last 6 years taught you something, it's that anything is attainable with the right focus and determination. Continue to build. Continue to promote your vision. Continue to inspire creativity and make more creatives. In closing, Nas said, "No idea is original. There's nothing new under the sun. It's never what you do, but how it's done. The first chapter of your vision's movements is done. However, you're still a visionary. Peace and blessings. John Ross."
Yo, it feel like 95, Sachi on my body, Biggie jigger puffy, all that ballin' is a hobby, and I'm wildin' in my body.
Houston, Texas. Welcome back to episode number 14 of the What's Next podcast, a production of Still Visionary Inc. My name is John Ross Dike, and before we get started off with the episode, Kay, let's introduce our social media handles so we don't have to disrupt the flow of the conversation when we get there. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at John Ross Dike and still_visionary. The website is stillvisionary.com. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like my Facebook page. And visit my website whenever you can. Kay.
Is it my time? Is it my time?
It's your time. Get hit.
My name is Sir Ja Monet, and my handles for Instagram and Twitter is _Sir Ja Monet. Same thing, SIRJAMONET. And that's it for me.
Both on Instagram and Twitter.
Both on Instagram and Twitter. That's where you will find me. If you need to email me about any business deals, my email is linked to my Instagram account.
Okay, website coming soon?
Website for me is not coming soon. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay.
But if you want to pay attention and be very interested in what's about to happen, you will follow the two people that are most important to me, which is Damaria Official is her Instagram and her Twitter. She's the next R&B powerhouse.
Okay.
And Truly Preezy. No underscores, nothing special. The next powerhouse rapper out of Houston. So.
Okay. So this is where I want to get started, man. You know, I follow you on Instagram, right? We'll follow you on Twitter by the end of this episode. But I want to get started here. You had a recent IG post that said, "Pay attention to the starting position." They call me Sir Ja Monet, aka Young Visionary, sincerely, Billionaire Mob Queen. Hashtag Creative Directors. Let's start there, man. What's that all about? Start there.
Personally, I separated from professionally. Personally, that was just me kind of saying, all right, now it's time to step in my purpose. Okay. It's been a long time coming, a long journey, so to speak. And so like just coming from a background more of pursuing medical degree because it was safe and it was the right thing to do. And that's what in middle class, they teach you that you made it if you kind of have that same paycheck. Yeah. But I was just like, you know what? I'm sitting here in microbiology class just bored as hell. and not even paying attention. I was literally looking at red carpets and music videos. So I was like, you know what? I called my mom and said, you know what? I'm not even going to do this no more. Okay. So I left Texas State 2016, and I was sleeping on my grandma's couch, just trying to figure it out. That's when I enrolled in the Art Institute of Houston, pursuing a fashion degree in fashion design. Okay. Went for 4 quarters, and then that's when I was like, you know what? I have enough tools and resources to get it on my own. Okay. And not have to continuously go into debt because you're not guaranteed a job after 4 years. Okay. So kind of just pursued it and figured it out. I came up with this podcast like you came up with. It's called Low Key Legends. Okay. And I was trying to shine light on Houston artists. And so I started with a couple other women. Didn't work out. But the fact that I met him through that, just a kid rapping, Shirley Preezy out of A-Leaf, Southwest Texas. So I was like, yo, he got bars. And then like the way he just looked, I was like, that's a wolf, that's a lion. And I was like, you know what, I could take a dominant out the rough. And so I was like, I'm a dominant in the rough, he's a dominant in the rough. And then on Twitter, my sister, she's now my business partner, Damaria, I heard her voice. Her video she sent me was Never Find Another. And when I was like, damn, this is like old Aaliyah, old Sierra, Ashanti, that era when it was truly like that gritty R&B. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. We sat down, we talked, had an interview with each other because I was still doing a podcast. And then I was like, you know what? I found 2 people that I can really get it with and grind it out with. And I always put the relationship before the transaction, because if we don't have the relationship together, the transaction's never gonna follow through. So I pay much respect to relationships, just how me and you have it, and then just carry myself from there. So my purpose is really being a creative and visual powerhouse, but also having stems of partnerships and collaboration with people just the same as me.
That sounds well rehearsed. It sounds well rehearsed. It sounds like you sat, just like, you know, for a while I used to struggle with how I wanted to present myself to other people. And I was having a conversation with the athletic director at my high school, and he said, so you do what you do for yourself to prove you can do it with others. And I was like, that's it. It took me a while. When I was talking to him, I said I could never say it like that, but now that you've said it like that, that's exactly what it is. I do what I do for myself so I can prove that I can do it for others. So that's when I say it sounds like that very ideal, that very thought of yours has been something that you've been working on for a while.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's definitely not easy when you try to find your purpose. Yeah. And I think we try to find our purpose before we find our passion. Yeah. Because the passion is for you. Okay. Like that shit is what you do for yourself. So like I want to be a designer in all types of powerhouses. So like I've never seen a woman, I'm into like supercars. So I've never seen a black woman sit at the table with those type of people and design actual cars that relate to black culture. Because we make it pop. If you really understand it, hip hop, rap, all of us, we make that pop. We make it go. No doubt. The sales, so why can't we collect the checks on that too? But also have an authentic voice in that space. So that part, fashion too. Shout out to Rihanna, because she's literally, when I saw that post she posted, the luxury fashion house ran by a black woman, I told my sister that like a week ago. And I was like, yo, like what we're about to do is about to be a luxury powerhouse. But the misrepresentation of black in the fashion space as far as luxury is very misconstrued. And I think just because we have black people in there, that doesn't mean they can take care of it all. So it has to be more of us sitting at the table and actually bring different values. And kind of like tribes are getting ready to run fashion. So it's not Balenciaga telling us what we wear. It's like, okay, these influencers that are on Instagram, they create their own tribes. And it's like everybody has a space for them now. Like everybody has an opportunity. So fashion is my passion. And I felt like the music and fashion shows were corny as fuck. Like, I just don't like it's cool with the catwalk, but like, I'm black. Like, we turn up, we do some things. So I was like, okay, so let me be in a space where, okay, I can have music for my fashion shows too, but my people are winning as well. So I'm in the space where, okay, my team eats. Like, I'm on something like, let's build an empire, a dynasty.
So, you know, that's a phrase that I've heard a while, and not the last statement that you made, but the phrase of finding my purpose. Explain to me from your vantage point what that means to you. What does that mean to you? Because I've heard it and I've toggled with it, and I've said it to my wife. What does that mean? I've heard other people say it, but I just want to hear from you, because this is the first time I've asked that question on here. What does that mean, finding your purpose? What does that mean?
So before you find your purpose, you find your passions. Okay. You find what literally drives you to a point you can't sleep at night.
Okay.
Like you literally can't eat on time because most people eat 3 times a day. Sometimes I can barely get 1 meal in because I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's just what drives you personally. Like I get excited talking about fashion. I get excited talking about music.
Okay.
I get excited talking about cars. So I was like, okay, those are my 3 passions. Your purpose is the fact that when I say billionaire mob queen, a lot of people think, I used to say it when I was Ubering because I started like just doing anything, odd jobs. You know what I'm saying? You got to. To anything to fulfill the dream. So they were like, well, it's not about money. And I was like, no, that's not what billionaire. When I use billionaire, it's not about that. It's about, okay, you want to be a billionaire. So how can I affect 1 billion people?
Okay.
That's your purpose. That's when you can offer a hand and put the person's needs before yours, and just they'll put your needs, so everyone's getting fed at the same time.
Say that one piece again, because I'm gonna put an air horn. Say that one piece again. You said you say that one piece again, because I'm gonna put an air horn under that one. Go ahead. Say that one piece again. Go ahead.
So your purpose is, okay, so let's go back a little bit. So I want to be a billionaire. So I need to understand, how do I affect 1 billion people? I need to meet people where they're at currently so that I can uplift them to their next step and journey in life. So if I'm winning, you have to win, but I have to teach you the right thing. So I have to understand it myself. So when you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be like just falsely advertising out here and telling people, oh, you need to do this, this, and this, and this. Well, wait a minute. You not like, I get it. I'm trying to figure it out, but you haven't even done anything. So like, if you say someone, like, even I was talking to my mom and she kind of took it personally, but I was like, don't get me wrong, you've been divorced 3 times. And when I say this, I say, you can't really tell me anything about marriage because you don't have one. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of people speak in a place where they tell you what to do, but they can't be a representation of themselves. I'm about a woman of action. So I words can go so far. Say what you gonna say and do what you gonna say. But your walk has to align with your words. It can't just be, it's like faith without work is dead. And I'm not trying to be like biblical or anything, but it's like a spiritual, like I'm on a spiritual journey. So just me, myself, and I, and figuring it out. And so if you walk in your purpose, if you say what you're going to do, and then you also walking in what you're going to do, that's your purpose. And then other people are also finding their purpose as well. That's your purpose. It's more community based now. And so I was figuring out, like, okay, this is about me being selfish with myself, my time. Because most people, when you're too accessible to people, they don't work for it. And they take that for granted. So now you got to be like, okay, my condolences to the people who lost me. Because that's your problem, not mine. You know what I'm saying? But now I have to figure out what I need to do to maneuver and protect my energy, but also to give energy to other people as well. So you have to, your purpose is say what you're going to do, walk in what you're going to do. And embody what you said and walked how you were going to do it.
So, and that brings me, I'm glad you said that, because it helps us transition to where we first met, because every Tuesday, right?
Facts.
I've told my kids every Tuesday, and, I was thinking along the lines of this. I was thinking with my baby coming, my baby is going to be a preemie, right? So he or she is going to need a lot of attention before they can get to that point where they can sustain on their own, right? In the midst of that, creative's gonna create. So I was thinking to myself, well, how do I stay creative doing it? How do I continue to produce the podcast every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time? Let me look at the camera and say that. Every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, unless otherwise stated, to be able to keep this journey going, right? And that's where I try. That's where I try to teach as an educator. I try to teach from that perspective of, listen, you're not talking to somebody who was an all-A student who went to Harvard. You're talking to a kid whose father fronted the bill for college, a kid who dropped out at some point and came back. And I'm talking to you from the standpoint of somebody who was like smart enough to do it without studying. But if I was also in the magnet program too, right? So fast forward a little bit. Here you come, right? I think this was 2 years ago, right?
2 years ago.
2 years ago,
2
right?
years ago.
And we were both working in 21st Century. I was hustling, doing my thing.
Absolutely.
But you had a consistent crowd of kids that were coming in to get that knowledge. Talk to us about that and how Bain found you and how you were able to tell him, this is what I do. You should hire me so I could come and talk to the kids about what they should be doing or what they could be doing.
So actually, shout out to my godmom. she pretty much had contracts with schools.
Okay.
And so I'm Ubering, and I'm also like, okay, let me figure out another way because you can never rely on one source of income, because then that's just broke on another level. So I was like, okay, let me start to make multiple streams of income for myself, so now I can fuel the dream even more and invest back into it. So she was telling me, yeah, I have this school that you can volunteer. It's a fashion design. I want to bring that, because she knew I was going to school for fashion design. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. Like, I literally could not tell kids a lot about fashion design. I could only teach you what I understood and learned. And so that's when I showed up, and that's when she offered like the twirling classes, and things like that, just more of extension. But fashion was her first time ever having that program in her program. So it was through a contractor actually that I got to meet you guys.
And you know, the thing about me, and you know what, let me open up a little bit, right? I heard somebody asked me once, well, why do you think that you can sell clothes? Why do you think that you can produce this and this and that? And I came back and told him, because this is what I do. I know I can do it, because if I know I can talk you into doing something, I know I can talk you into believing in what I believe in my vision, right? So, you know, I used to sit in there and I used to listen to you talk, and I was like, damn, she sound like, because you know, you reach a little skepticism.
Yeah.
People are skeptics about what you can and cannot do until they actually see you do it. And I was fascinated on how you were able to take Q, how you were able to take Clayton, right? and I'm on Clayton about it every day now. I'm like, hey man, when you gonna drop that 16? When you gonna drop that song? Stop talking about it, be about it. And I was just like, listen, man, you ain't got to even fear. Every Tuesday at 6 p.m. what's dropping? What's next episode? The next episode. You know what I'm saying? That's dropping. What about you? So talk about that experience and how you were able to motivate these kids to not only come back, because nowadays we live in an era where kids got to see you making the money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They got to see you making the money. They got to see you with 1 million followers on Instagram in order to believe what you're saying to be true. Talk about that part.
I was listening to this. It was like video. I listen to motivational videos every morning before I go to work, and it was a monk. He's not a traditional monk, so he's like tatted like me, real different. You wouldn't even think he's a monk if you dropped out of school, was doing drugs of every kind, all that. But he was like, he said, "What do you want to impact in the world?" And it kind of hit me. Educate and entertain. And one of the biggest industries is entertainment, but educating people to where they don't know they're even being educated at the same time. So one big example for me was Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. Rest in paradise, King. That was the man who actually made me drop out of school in 2016 and really just follow through with dreams. And I saw that how he educated, but he also entertained at the same time.
No doubt.
And so I felt like, okay, I'm figuring these things out, right? In order for me to get better, I got to share what I know.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, these kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, the black dollar it goes around. Like, I was reading this article and they were saying, if you take all the black people out of America right now and you put them in their own country, our economy is equivalent to Australia. Do you understand how big that is? How big the black dollar is? And so it's kind of like, all right, so our kings go to jail for drug possession, which is marijuana. But now these white guys traditionally are now thriving off of it. And now you can deliver weed. You know what I'm saying? So we started the path. Like, now that I know, like, we're the chosen generation. Like, we're the chosen ones. Like, we have to go through shit to get the shit. We're like multifaceted in every step. We make everything cool. We make everything run. So I was like, you know, and another inspiration for me is Karen Civil. Top, like, that's like, if I was to ever find like someone who could mentor me and just on another level and I can see myself in that person, it would be KC every time. Like, how she is, what she does, because she don't just do one thing. Like, she does, her hand is in different bags, and that's cool. And so I was like, you know what, let me start here. I may not be at the top, I may not be where I want to be, but let me stop right here at the bottom. And if I can share what I know, then all right, I can get this person thinking. I can get this person like, all right, she ain't got everything, all of it together, but she can She doing it.
Yeah.
She's literally doing it. Like, even in class, I would show you guys what I was working on.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, say what you gonna do what you said the fuck you was gonna do, and live what the fuck you said you was gonna do.
Yeah.
It's your walk.
Yeah.
Like, most people talk these days, like, and cap. And cap, like, people are broke, so like, don't look at don't look at Instagram and Twitter and be like, damn, I gotta be like that. Some of these people are broke, like broke as hell, and their spirits are broken. Like, for real, they broke as shit. And so, like, why am I aspiring to be broke? Even more broke, but on a different level.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to, not only am I indulging in these things, but it's called equity. That's what Nipsey used to talk about. It's called equity. So I'm gonna get a check on the front end and the back end.
Yeah.
And it's not even about the check, it's about your passion, but you get paid to be you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm inspiring.
Yeah.
Like, that's inspired. Like, damn, I get paid to be myself.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm on that type of job.
Speaking of Nipsey, you know, I was late on the bandwagon, but I'm appreciative of there was a clip I put on Instagram maybe about a month and a half ago. Well, maybe about a month ago, me highlighting one of his tracks that I heard on the Victory Lap album, right? And but you know, perusing through Instagram, you know, after the incident, I looked and followed Laura London. And I just wanted to, because for me, it was more the lines of like what she's going through. If I were in that position, if I lost my significant other, my wife, and I kind of was just like, it's just not. Being a spiritual person, I was just like, man, it's just not right. But you understand that God makes no mistakes, right? So I saw you, you know, here, Sir Ja Monet, you like this, or you like that, or you commented here. And I think what Instagram does is the people that you follow, it highlights what they do.
Okay.
And you can naturally, if you look on the, I guess the Discover page,
Okay.
or you can see what people like,
Okay.
what they comment. But I would see you here and there like, and I was like, I would look at the date and I was like, okay, damn, you've been following for a while. How do you think the passing of Nipsey affected you as a fan?
As a fan, I felt like I lost a spiritual brother. You like, it was, his spirit was like so consuming of you. You didn't have to know him to like say, all right, now I can grieve. Like, I'm grieving on a spiritual level, because he was so spiritual. If you really like, that's why, like, with Lauren London, like, I pray for her every day. Even though I'm a single woman, I'm young and I'm still figuring it out. Like, he was on sacred love. Like, you know what I'm saying? He knew you couldn't take that for granted. You couldn't take a woman for granted. He kind of embodied what you would want, as me as a millennial, I would want in a relationship. Like, to be in an empire together, like, to not leave each other out, but to actually put each other's needs. So for her, she kind of like, not kind of, but she put his needs before her, and he put her needs before him. Therefore it clicked so well from just my perspective. And it was just like, okay, like, that's what I had an example, so I can inspire for those things. Or just him with kids, like, he came from the bottom. He came from the bottom, and then he hustled. And then he brought back the block. That's full circle. Like, literally, you started somewhere, and then now you come all the way around. But if you paid attention to him, he had his team around him. He surrounded himself around his girl, his family. He kept it low key. Everybody wasn't in your business.
Yeah.
And I think, like, if everybody would just worry about their business, you would flourish a lot.
Yeah.
You would flourish a lot more. And he also taught us, like, fuck the middleman. Get it yourself.
That's where me and him
Clicked.
on a hustle spirit connect, because that's where I've been for the past, I want to say 7 years or so. It's like, forget that middleman, because the middleman takes his time to do what he wants to do, and you know, you as the creative have this ingenious idea, and you implement it, and then you go out and you seek to try to have somebody help you foster your idea, but they have their own idea with it. And even though they bring the money and they're like, okay, well, I can sponsor you, you always end up like one way or the other, depending on them, owing them something. So that is where he and I, where I really started paying attention.
Tapped in.
So what song's on your mind right now?
What song's on my mind? It's an unreleased song that I just came from the studio with my sister. She's doing. We're working on another project. The EP is coming up. But what song is on my mind? I would say that I've been listening to nonstop. That's my Get It and Grind It song. It's Feeling Myself by Nipsey.
Okay.
With Lloyd. Because it was like, can't nobody, not like, he was like, not a motherfucker can knock me out my zone.
That's on, is that Crenshaw or
no,
Mailbox?
LA Leaks.
LA Leaks, okay.
I think it's the LA Leaks or the Leakers, something like that.
Okay.
I forgot. But it's just, it was dropped as a single. Okay, y'all gotta bear with me because you know people get fandom real strong. But like just that one is just like, it was kind of like a power song for yourself. Like you got to be your biggest cheerleader. I think that's what, okay, if I could take anything from that man, I would say he was his biggest cheerleader.
Yeah. Facts.
And he conquered the mind. When you can conquer the mind, you can conquer the world.
Yeah. Facts.
So if you conquer positivity within yourself and you say, I'm gonna manifest this, even though you're like far from that place.
Yeah.
Like, so say I want to do 10 million. So my goal is to do 10 million in personal income. Mm-hmm. I'm nowhere near that. Mm-hmm. But if I write it down, if I journal it every day, if I manifest towards it, if my moves align with it, I'm going to get it.
That's the same thing Big Sean said once in an interview. He said that he wanted to be a millionaire and he wrote himself $1 million check and put it on the wall.
I wrote myself $100 million check and put it on the wall.
No doubt. No doubt.
I'm not playing. As soon as you said that, I was like, yeah, it's $100 million check on my, it's printed real big.
Yeah. And for me, the song that's on my mind is Higher off the DJ Khaled album.
Oh,
Higher.
The video is even more
Yeah. It's crazy how it comes back around, because when you seen that picture of him in the silk blue and sitting on the car, I didn't know that was taken from that video shoot. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know either.
And so when I saw the video when it dropped, I went ahead and shared it to the Tumblr.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna go higher off that Father of Rashad album.
You're spiritual.
Okay.
It's your spiritual. Like, a lot of people don't like to sit with themselves.
Yeah.
Like, you're disgusted with yourself, and I'm confused. That's why all the shit is happening to you, because you don't even value you.
Yeah.
So if you talk to you, because you're gonna always have these voices in your head that I'm learning. So if you can tell those voices, all right, shut the fuck up, this is still what we gonna do.
Yeah.
Like, those your fears kind of just coming, your insecurities start coming in.
Yeah.
But if you have that real power voice, like, all right, everybody shut the fuck up, like, this is what we gonna do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm finna walk in my purpose. Like, I'm finna go get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finna be the next creative and visual powerhouse, and nobody knock that off me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If I could tell myself that, I'm cool. I'm full at that point. So now everything is gonna just fall in line at that time.
Yeah. So today is May the 18th, 2019. We have 227 days left in 2019. What do you hope to attain in those 227 days?
I hope to obtain progression in my creativity.
Okay.
I'm not focused we used to, most times we're focused on point A to B, that we forget how to get the how in between A and B.
Okay.
So I'm focused on my how, my process.
Yeah.
I'm focused on new partnerships. I will drop the fact that I am a young millennial and I do own a record label.
Okay.
And I also own a fashion label.
Okay.
Details are later coming soon. So if you want to understand what the game is and the name of it is, you can still try to follow me. I'll keep you informed.
Yeah.
But just doing that and growing those two businesses. Okay. I think I'm not, you know what I'm saying, being purposeful, you find it over time in your life until the day you die.
Do you have any music that we can put on the podcast?
Do I have any music?
Not you, but
my two favorite artists, Truly Preezy. Let's see. He's getting ready to drop a single.
Anything old?
Anything old from him? Let's see. Let me go through my repertoire.
Okay.
And then for Damaria, actually, it's with both of them.
Okay.
It's called Questions.
Are they gonna allow us to play it here on the podcast?
Yes. Go ahead. It's released.
Okay. So
go ahead and play Questions.
This is what we'll do. Let's go ahead and play Questions. Houston, Texas. You're watching and listening to the What's Next podcast, and a production of Still Visionary. This is episode number 14. Peace and blessings.
why you trippin'? Why you actin' like this? Ay, yo, why you trippin'? Why you actin' like this? Ooh, why you trippin'? Why you trippin'? Why you trippin'? Ay, why you trippin'? Why you actin' like this? Ay.
Tell me where you been, coming in all late. Why you never call when you say you on the way? I see the makeup stains. Why you playing games? Maybe cause you know that the love it ain't the same. That's okay. But why you trying to claim that you gon' change? Saying that you love me and I put my bags away. You know I love you, but I can't be no fool. Did everything you asked me to, but that's not enough for you. So no, we gon' have to let this go. If you can't tell me what I need to know, boy, I'm about to walk on out the door. So tell me, can you tell me what I need to know? Cause I got questions. Why you gotta lie? Why you waste my time? How you say you love me, but you always make me cry. Tell me why you can't commit, why you full of shit, and how I ain't the one when I put 7 years in this. And that's okay, cause I'm the one that let it be this way. I should've left your ass when you ain't had shit to your name. You know I love you, but I can't be no fool. Boy, I gave my all to you and I still can't get half of you. So no, we gon' have to let this go. If you can tell me what I need to know, boy, I'm about to walk on out the door. So tell me, can you tell me what I need to know? Cause I got questions. I got some questions.
Okay, we're back. Round of applause for that, man. Round of applause for that. So, questions. Talk about that song for us. Talk about that. How were you involved in the creation of that song?
So let me define myself real quickly, just a little bit. So with creative director on my version and my take of it, if we're gonna label, I don't really like labels, but creative direction, me, like, I'm in the studio with these people.
Okay.
I go from the beat with them
to
the actual, when they make the song, to the actual mixing and mastering of the song.
Okay.
And then I go from that and I make it a visual conversation.
Okay.
So I elevate it. My job is to make sure what their vision is done right.
All right.
And I just kind of make it another conversation at that point.
Okay. You know, earlier on in the conversation, you said something that paralleled to what my sister said last episode. And it hit me, but you were going, so I didn't want to interrupt you.
Stop me at any time.
I was gonna say that's exactly what she said last week, but I can't remember it. So this is where I want to go with fashion. Who are your biggest influences in fashion, and how do you define that now? Because we said something last episode, and she said, "What is standard for 2019?" and the prom dresses she was giving away. So how do you define what fashion is now? How do you do that?
My biggest influences in fashion, and I kind of will break it down.
I'm sorry, that's what it was. It was Rihanna. She shouted out Fenty last week, and you shouted out Rihanna. And I was like, okay, it was great. It was great. Go ahead.
So I like to say, you know, also, although it's a brand, it's a person behind the brand. So I'm gonna shout out the person, and then when you just hear that person, you'll see the business deal as well, which is Fenty, which is the brand. That's dope to me, what she did with Puma, her partnership with that. But my huge inspiration for fashion came from Gianni Versace with Naomi Campbell and Yasmin Guri. Like back in the 90s, that type of woman, that type of unmodest woman, like, but she was still classy. Like you couldn't come at her any type of way. Modeling, Naomi Campbell, and then Nicole Murphy.
Okay.
Like, I think those are my, like, yeah.
I think Diddy put a post up on his Instagram on International Women's Day with Naomi Campbell, Rihanna, and I think that woman that you mentioned.
Nicole Murphy?
Not Nicole Murphy, but it was the other lady you mentioned.
Yasmin Guri?
Yeah, I think so. That might have been her. I think that may have been her.
Absolutely amazing individuals, yes.
Okay, so before I let you go on the podcast, what I like to do here is I like to bring the creatives on. I like to talk to them about our journeys, and I can tell in your journey, my journey, we both are from the bottom up, right? We both I mean, I learned so much, a lot. And the thing about this conversation is, the thing I like about myself mostly is that I like to study. How I study to become better is just listen over and over to the conversations that I've had, watch myself on film, all of that type of stuff.
Them playback takes.
What I like to do on a podcast is I like to bring creators on and I like to talk about their journeys, right? So the last question that I'll ask you is, what's next for Sir Ja Monet?
Let me take time to think about that.
No doubt.
What's
Get
next
this
for
gift
me?
ready for you right quick. Go ahead.
What's next
gift
for
ready for you.
Sir Ja Monet? What's next for me, I think, is the goals I've personally set to actually execute those.
Okay.
So what's next for me is anything I wrote down, anything I visualized and said and that I meditate on every day of this year, I want to execute those.
Okay.
Execution. I think that's mine, and like not giving a fuck what anybody else says. Like that's what type of time I'm on, because at the end of the day, you may feel the same way as you, but it's cool. I respect your opinion, but I don't value it because it doesn't bring any value to me.
Okay.
As far as anything that I'm going, because you're not even doing what you want to do, but you have time to talk about me, so that's a good thing. I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So it's execution in my passions, and then on that journey, I'll find my purpose even more. So
okay.
Yeah.
And what I like to do on the podcast as well is I like to give out a T-shirt that is exclusively a gift from the podcast. Nobody in the state of Texas, nobody in the city of Houston wears this. This is a black SBI T-shirt, man.
I love it, and this
whenever
is my
you wear
color.
It, whenever you wear it, whenever you wear it,
color.
I will know that you were on the podcast.
Absolutely, I'll post.
Okay.
Social currency. And
of
I
course.
can't, you know what I'm saying? I think the biggest thing we can give each other is not money, but share brand with each other.
Of course.
Post each other, fuck with each other, shout out each
I'm
other.
gonna get an air horn for that.
And I think we gonna win just like that.
No doubt.
Community.
Houston, Texas, man. It's our time. Peace and blessings.
Hey, we out.
Yo, it feel like 95. Sachi on my body. Biggie, jigger, puffy. All that ballin' is a hobby. And I'm wildin' in my wallies. And them valleys, no Pilates. More weight, get you more wet. Nah, that's these Spumante. My crystal ball, I see crystal. I crystal y'all with that. I saw the sign like ace of spades. That ace of spades get cracked. I'm like, cheers to the money guys. The Willie niggas who buy them bottles. And then they spill these liquors. Yo, salute my dude. I see you, dawg. 5 bottles, 1 dick. Why I need 2 bras? I know I'm out of line, but love is shower time. You know it rose rain when your cloud is 9. Get off that high ass hussy. This a private party. Been on my dick too long. Your breath on private party. You gon' be nice or naughty. These walls on priceless Audi. This the upper crust. Fuck is up. Over and done. Overdose. Yes, we did it again. Sippin' with no remorse. We gon' do it again, and we gon' do it again.